It says I'm live. That's all very exciting. Hi, kids, folks at home. Like the title implies, we're going to have a little scolding session here. I'm not the soup Nazi. If you haven't seen the lovely 90s family sitcom Seinfeld, I suggest you begin from the beginning. It's not necessarily my way or the highway. There's a lot of ifs, whats, whos, and buts. And here's the thing. If you want to work in tandem with me and have me help you with the process, please adhere to some of the guidelines. Keep your hands and feet inside of the vehicle at all times. You walk into a factory, and before you're even able to get a foot, you start to see those big orange signs everywhere, right? Wear a hard hat. Somebody probably cracked their skull and died right there. And that's why that sign exists. Put your hard hat on. A few steps later, someone stops you and says, sign in, sign a waiver. Here's your safety glasses and your gloves. Then you start to see more orange signs. Don't put your hand here. Someone probably lost life or limb in that area as well, crushed fingers and the like. That factory back in the early 40s or 50s probably didn't have any signs. There were no hard hats. No one gave a shit if you lost an eye. My little guidelines and the items that I ask for you to adhere to as a client are to keep you safe and sound and to help you get this done. I'm also constantly cracking the whip dealing with folks that are in a hurry, and you should never do that. This is all touched on in my course. I'm constantly saying, I'm not a motivational speaker, and I'm not a counselor. I end up motivating all of my clients through my lifestyle, but that's not why I do it. The preponderance of the things that I do and the stuff that I have is not on my YouTube. It's none of your business. Motivation aside, I end up counseling people every single day, older than me, younger than me. They want to understand how they're going to feel about this, that, or the other. Well, feelings aside, if, that's the big operative word in this next sentence, if you're thinking of bringing me on board, don't communicate with the landlord. You know that I like to jump into the queries and the questions with you guys on these lives, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. We're going to have some fun. We always do. If you're new to the channel, smash the button with the thing, follow, because I don't know when I'm going live. I just started making these announcements. Most of the time, I don't have scheduled lives. So be selfish. If you follow 312 YouTube channels, make it 313, or get rid of all those other schmucks. You don't need them. I'm going to go through a few questions now, then we're going to jump on with my client, and then back to you. Scott says, I have scouted some stores. What are some of the tried and true ways to find the contact information of the owner of a standalone building? Standalone buildings are no different than any other building, but the problem is, Scott, you can't speak to other neighbors. You can't walk in and kick the door in a laundromat and say, who the hell is your landlord? Sounds like you have the course, Scott. The first and most important thing is there's tons of fish in that there sea. So don't fixate on one store. Here I am counseling. Don't let your mind spin out of control. Got to get the landlord. And also, I just talked to a guy today. He thought landlord meant landlord. He found a realtor who worked for the landlord at this laundry, and he thought, oh, that's not the guy. I need to find the actual dude. When I say landlord, it's a general term for whomever sits on the other side of the table. If the guy lives on a hill somewhere and he owns 1 million square feet and he wants to be left the hell alone behind some barbed wire, leave him there. If he's hired a management team, realtors, brokers. Now, the word broker we hate because we don't want to deal with business brokers who are selling the laundry. It leads to nothing. It's mental masturbation. But that's another term for a realtor with lots of initials after his or her name. So no big deal. If they're a broker in that capacity, fine. Getting in the weeds. And I know that. Standalone building. Do a Google search, and you're not going to find this entity top page. The first thing that's going to come up on the address, not the laundromat, the address, is likely the laundromat. Keep looking. Second, third page of Google. Here's how the internet works, kids. If that landlord or management company has ever tried to lease that space, you'll find a tidbit. If they've ever hired someone to cut the grass or remove the snow, you'll find that information. If they've ever Craigslisted looking for a kid to paint the windows, you'll find it. If you really don't see anything going in the direction of landlord versus operator, it's probably the same entity. Now, for the cheap seats, if you've done all your own research and worse comes to worse, push comes to shove, reach out to a friend, a cousin, someone you went to high school with who happens to be a real estate agent. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a realtor. Why do I say they need to be a friend? Because that individual is not going to get paid, be clear. Don't go in the phone book. Remember phone books? Don't go in the phone book and try to find a realtor. Reach out to someone you know in your circle or your circle's circle and say, hey, can I get a favor? I'm going to text you an address every now and then. And don't do that first. You'll burn the bridge. Do that after you have hard fought yourself to try to find that entity. Scott, if you were on board with me, we'd be having this discussion in person. Anyone here, no, don't email me, Danny, I need to talk to you, get those emails every day. Please, start with the silly course. Everyone wants to be Tom Cruise, flying fighter jets and Top Gun training with their hair on fire, but you first have to learn to crawl. I'd be happy to speak to each and every one of you on my cell phone. Comment now if you have my number. Don't put my number out there. Happy to talk to you. But frankly, I don't want to waste your time with the minutia, with the million questions. What's this lever do? Jesus, Tom, that lever kills us. Top Gun school comes later. Bill says, Scott, I asked the neighbors, okay, look at you guys. You're always doing this, helping each other out. Ask the neighbors, check with the city, check county tax office, lie to the operator. I never say lie, fib. Lie to the operator and say you're with a nonprofit doing, all right, good, I'm stopping. I'm not reading that anymore. No soup for you, that's right, Jack. Jack, you're on my A-list today, brother. Who are these people? We'll have to do some let's hear who you want to hear impressions of. Danny, does the course include operating and exit strategy training? I'll definitely, yes. It's funny to me, I have 700 plus YouTube videos, and I still get these types of questions, no problem. Anyone on this live asks me a question about laundromats, see, I caught myself. Serious question about laundries and it's not answered in the course, I'll give you the course for free. It's all in there. Ian says he caught a live. Oh my God, Ian. Congratulations. Lumberjack Landlord. Danny does a great job showing by example. Danny does a great job showing by example what is and isn't important getting deals done. Thanks, Danny. Thank you, sir. Means a lot. Especially people that take the time to write more than one sentence. Get off your screens, people. Unless you're watching this on your iPhone. Ian says, Scott, try public records. Yes, just make sure you vet the information if we're working together. Check county assessor records. The course is worth every penny, says Ian. Thank you, Ian. That's my mom, actually. She's a plant. Got it. Yes, sir. It is not a silly course. It's a master's level course of information, and it has a gratuitous shower scene. Now I know he's seen it. Got his number. Hi, Rebecca. Hey, Danny. Good to be part of your live. I'm working on coming up on cash to pay your consultation. Sergio, let's do it. You can smash the button inside. This turned into a sales call. You can smash the button inside the course itself or ask us for an invoice. It's not a lot of money. Nobody needs to start talking dollars and cents here. I want these videos to be evergreen. Prices change. It's not enough. And that's me not selling you shit. It's not enough. And I know that. If you want to ask for an invoice, you can pay it different ways. I don't know how it all works. I have one, Danny, that I can't find who took over the landlord because he just passed away. Now the location has been closed. Okay, well, family, probably dealing with that family, I'd say right away. P.S. I do have that number. Will, we all know you do. Sergio says, I wish I could talk to the agent myself. Unfortunately, I'm afraid of one question. That is, how many stores do you have and experience with Laundromat? That's common. And that's what people are normally afraid of, Sergio. That's not what you should be afraid of. Trust me. When I get on a consult with people, they've seen the course, we get on the telephone, and they say sternly, I'm a staunch believer in doing things myself. I'm going to call the landlords. The next thing you're going to hear from me is, great, let's role play. It's not pretty. I can hear their heart beating through their throat, and I'm like, it's just me. It's just us, bro. How are you going to do with the landlord? You're worried about one question, and that's not the thing. It's experience. I don't need to take a certain pill or a shot of whiskey before I get on the phone with landlords. It's being able to zig, not zag. I'd do the course, but I don't live in America, says Darren. Go get them, boys and girls. Darren, I've got success stories in 28 countries. If laundries exist there, which means you're not in Dubai, get the course. I even have successes in my little video content. Darren, no need to live in America, works all over the world. Look at you guys. Derek here. Thank you, Derek. See, because I know his name isn't Beardsman12. Do you come up with the number you're willing to buy the business for? Revenue and equipment are a factor. Oh, shit. Zero, Derek. Zero, Derek. Everything you see on my channel, all of my clients, and the way that I built my entire empire, we speak to landlords, brother. You can look at 100 P&Ls or the 1,000 that I've seen in my time. Bullshit. Let me ask you one question. Who would sell a successful cash business? Yeah. I'm glad you're on here, Derek. Start digging into what we do here. All right, we're going to call the client. I'm going to put a bunch of X's in so I know where my place is. Feel free to continue in the top chat, everybody. Feel free to continue asking important, pointed laundry questions. I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Now's your chance to subscribe if you haven't, especially you, Derek. Scott, I hope you got your ears on, buddy. I don't scold anybody, even if they deserve it. Oh, great. Now we're going to have problems with the Bluetooth. At least you get to see me make angry Bluetooth faces. There we go.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice.
Please kill me dead.
I'm sorry. Hello?
What are you sorry for? Who are you talking to?
Hey.
What are you doing right now?
Someone happened to be calling me too at the same time, but I hung up already.
Hung up on them already. Tell them
Yeah,
to
it was
leave me alone.
yeah, I'm like, Danny's more important right now.
Send him a text. Okay,
All
here's what
right.
I know. We made a cold call to this here laundromat, and what happened? What did they say?
They pretty much agreed to most of the terms, which is the lease rate, the most important thing, the abatement, and they're going to warrant it. The AC is going to be warranted. The only issue that came up was the security deposit.
No, no, no. That's not chronologically what happened. So we had a lovely conversation. You saw the silly course. You brought me on board. We had a phone talk. You said, you know what? Danny's worth his weight in gold. Here we are. We made the call.
Yeah,
You're going to get yourself a laundromat free of charge. They agreed to how much free rent?
9 months of free rent.
Jesus, God Almighty. Who even knew? Did you know, Scott, did you know that free rent existed before you knew about Danny D?
No, not until I met you.
Well, we haven't met. Not really. I know you have dreams about my shower scene, but no.
One day, come over, visit the store.
We will hang out, most certainly. So we had lovely back and forths. We sent a letter of intent. The timeline was pretty robust. This all happened fairly quickly. What happened next? You're trying to cut to the end of this story. I want to know chronologically what happened.
Yeah, so we made the first phone call to the agent, and like I said, it went pretty well. There was no pushback at all when it came to what we were asking for, and the location makes sense. And let me see, let me check the notes.
We check the notes.
Well, we had a little bump on the road. Obviously,
what's the bump in the road? What happened?
They were requesting for our financials. They wanted bank statements. They wanted to make sure.
Probably 8-10% of landlords at some point they want to see your financials. Okay? I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's a fear that keeps people from doing anything, and I want to put it front and center. All right. First of all, the other 90% never give a shit, don't care. Does it depend on the market? No, not really. It depends on the landlord, how many square feet they have under their belt, etc. How big or small the real estate investment trust or Bob's Realty happens to be, or the landlord who's mom and pop who owns one strip mall, okay? Whether or not they want to spend $7 to run your credit and all of that, okay? Have you seen videos on my channel that exist where the landlord asks for credit information before they'll even discuss a lease?
No.
Okay, they exist, and I'll talk about it. You know what we do? Dude, that's, to me, like walking in to buy a Ford F-150, and the salesman takes a look at you and says, yeah, I don't like the cut of your jib, buddy. How old are your shoes? Give me your social, and I'll tell you which car you can afford. Now, personally, I'm not going to put on a Rolex to go buy a truck. None of their goddamn business. That's the truth of it. It's not just the way you carry yourself when you've done well in life. It's the truth of it. It does happen. That didn't happen to you. They said, yeah, everything's great. Let's do this because I was your mouthpiece. I was the one that talked. I didn't say you were rich. I didn't say that you had an 850 FICO score. None of that. None of that transpired. They never thought to discuss it. And I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to scold you either, but I'm making an example of this.
Yeah.
So we're getting everything that we want. Everything's humming along. I believe you and I talked about you having a low score. Your credit is currently 650. Nobody knows who you are. 654. Due to student loans that you said, I believe we were on Alive, maybe, I don't know. And you said, I've got these student loans. Well, who cares? No one cares why you have low credit score. No one cares. And I believe I told you, like I tell everyone, fix it. But on the flip side of that, you're about to sign a lease, Get equipment in place no matter what your credit score is. I know because I've done this with, not for, but with so many people. Poor credit, ugly wife, fat kids, all of those things are what keep people from being successful. Some of that's a joke.
It's all good.
So they emailed back on the 16th of the month, if I'm right. I'm looking at your notes, and they wanted bank statements. Did they ask you to sign an application for credit?
Yes, loan
Okay.
application,
And we talked at that time, you and I?
yes, you gave me the okay to forward them the info and disclose some of my information
Right.
and stuff.
And on the same day, I spoke to the agent and I said, he's got some student loans.
Which
He
you
wanted,
understood.
if I'm right, he said, well, they wanted both of us to, is this the one where they, and I'm sorry these blend together, sorry, not sorry, but they wanted us both to be guarantors or something silly?
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, dude, you got this all wrong. I'm a lease negotiator. I don't call up cold. When my client, i.e. you, puts a store in front of me, I don't call cold and say, hi, I'm a professional lease negotiator. Pull up your knickers. You're about to be reamed. Wouldn't make sense. I know what works and how it works. No bullshitting. The moment they ask, well, who are these characters in this Greek tragedy? I'm the guy that Scott was smart enough to bring on board, right? You're guilty of a crime. I don't care what it is. You're guilty. You stole a pack of gum. Do you talk to the police?
Nope.
No. How do you know? Are you a criminal?
Nope.
TV, right? Movies. We all know. We're all screaming at the television. Don't talk. Get a lawyer. Now, I'm no attorney. I don't play one on TV. But you already brought me on board. And we're coming to the crescendo, the denouement of this scenario. You are the ingenue. I can be the pro or antagonist. Remember your high school theater class, kids. So, I don't know what happened next because we had a nice conversation. I told you, sign the credit app, send them over the thing. It doesn't matter. I told you they want you more as a tenant than you need them as a landlord. I told you all of that. And then what happened?
So he emailed us back saying that due to certain factors, management was requesting a $40,000 security deposit plus first month rent.
Okay. I vacillate between what you're telling me and what's going to happen and what I have experience with. So no big deal. Give him 40 grand, right? Number one. Number two, you never knew that you could. Have you ever rented a car? Fast paced, yes or no questions. You ever rent a car?
Yes.
Can't do it without a credit card, right? If it's a debit card, they're going to put $600 or something crazy on that to cover insurance. All right, whatever. You ever rent an apartment?
Yes.
I'll bet you didn't go in there and talk to the girl with the pencil skirt and say, I'm not going to give you first and last month's rent, and I'd like 3 months free. You didn't do that, did you?
Not at all.
Didn't even think you could. I'm not sure that you can.
I gave him everything.
Right. I admit I did too. Now I buy houses and condos, and I'm pissed that it takes so long to do the paperwork. I'm like, come on, man. Let's go. The point being, we have experience in life, and your experience has been you give people what they ask for. I need a credit card. All I have is a debit card. We're going to put $1,000 on that card so you can rent this Hyundai. Oh, okay. First and last month's rent. I don't think anybody ever gets the deposit back. You probably don't even need to go into that apartment. Your drapes were dirty and the carpet had a Harley stain on it. I never even went in there. This is different. These are commercial leases. And I'm giving up the ghost. It's all in the course. You can get all of this, and they'll give you money on top of it. They'll replace the glass, the sliding doors, the ceiling tile, the floor tile, anything that has to do with their building, not your business, right? They'll pay. TI, it's called tenant improvement money. All that, all the stuff that Scott had no idea existed, was all in place and ready to go. Now, brother, they're always going to ask for a deposit for the lease and or first and last, which is not normally done in a commercial lease when it's 15 fucking years long. They don't ask for first and last. When they do, it's a joke. You've heard me on YouTube talk them out of that tree, right?
Yes, I have.
We don't call day one and say, hi, I'm a lease negotiator. I need $40,000 in TI, 12 months free rent. That's how you get to 9. And by the way, we won't be giving you a dime, no skin in the game. They'd hang up the phone. All you'd hear is dial tone. Instead, we go through incremental negotiating steps. Because, bro, they've already decided they want you as a tenant. And there's good news, bad news coming, even today. They've already decided they want you. And that's when they draft the lease, which they haven't done yet. That's when we call and say, by the way, change the locks. We'll pay your locksmith. That's $100, right? And he's going in his mind. It's a mental game. Oh, all right, good, yeah. There was some dog shit out front. We'd like you to remove it. Well, okay. What's the third thing? Scratch the deposit.
He actually drafted a lease and provided us with the final lease, just FYI.
Sure. But bro, at some point, we're getting to the crescendo here, and it is what happened. I go into our document that we share, and I see $40,000 plastered everywhere. You wrote, emailed bank statements on the 18th. That should read Scott. Even when I make calls, I say, Danny called, Scott called. I don't know who I is.
Right.
On the 20th, Alex replied to an email stating, due to few factors, management is requesting a deposit of $40,000. Why the fuck didn't you get me involved right then and there? Don't think about it. Just tell me why.
For this one, I think I sent you a message, but...
You think you sent me a message, but 8:22, Alex sent text message. I don't know to whom. I guess that was you, right?
Yes.
Now, this seems petty, and I told you I'm hanging you out to dry. I don't want you to start crying. I don't think you're going to. Scott.
No, I'm ready.
You've already cried. Good. Get it all out, buddy. Alex sent Scott a text message repeating what was on the email and added, management wanted to also include 1 month's deposit of plus $40,000. 8:25, Alex sent a text message directly to me. Oh, God help me. Scott. And then followed up with a phone call. Why'd you answer the phone, dude?
He was blowing up my phone, so that's where I made my first mistake.
But I want to know the answer to the question. So you answer the phone and he says, hi, this is the agent for ABC Management Company. And you say, oh, man, I just stepped on a nail. Hang up. Because you're guilty of a crime and you've already retained an attorney. That's not who I am. That's a scenario. And me and everyone else is screaming at our televisions or the big screen. Don't talk to them. They get you in a room and they say, yeah, we got your accomplice in the next room. There's nobody in there. This isn't a country where they beat you with phone books. I want just tell me the real answer. Why did you talk to him?
I was just trying to, I guess, just get to the point already, like if this was going to get done or not, and then be realistic with what he was asking, which is he's not going to get 40K. So I think that was more of the reason why I kind of answered the phone.
Can I tell you why you did it? Because you're in a hurry. Where was I?
Yeah.
What was I doing? Was I water skiing Am I in Aspen on the slopes? I'm a dipshit, right? I'm not here for you. Dude, I'm going to leave it at that. This is me preaching to the choir because I've created videos about this very thing, hearing the inflection in the voice. Now, I know that you are an intelligent guy and that you're capable of doing this on your own, because what you did next was use some of my terminology that you've seen on the YouTube machine, that you've seen in the course, right?
Yeah.
You skip right to today's date, yesterday's date, and you're like, we need to follow up with Alex, see if we can change the lease 20 years of the 5-year up. Please, I know this is hard, and you're bearing your soul to the universe. No one cares who you are. I do. Your family does. You do. How did that phone call go? Try to remember word for, because you weren't in front of the document, because I don't see
Right. So
notes.
So she said, obviously they needed 40,000. I said that wasn't going to happen. That I was going to spend about
What exactly did
$500,000.
you say? I wouldn't say
spend
that's not going to happen. That's not how you negotiate. I hate to interrupt.
No,
That's
I just told him, look, I can't say word by word, but it was something to the fact that, hey, I'm not going to be able to spend 40,000 because I need the money to be able to renovate the location. I'm gonna spend about another $150,000.
Do you realize what he did is wrong? Do you realize what this agent did is wrong? I told him a week ago that you had brought me on board as a professional, that you had seen fit to put me between you and him as your sword and, more importantly, your shield. And he fucking end-runned that relationship. He didn't call me, did he?
I don't think so.
He didn't text me, did he? You don't think so? He didn't. I'll tell you right now. This is the deeper baseball thing where you're over here concerned. I've been there, dude. You're not talking to some rich kid. You know that. I am self-made. I never want to forget the time when I didn't have $20. When I was happy to get a paycheck from the Navy. I don't want to forget that time in my life. It's still in me. But that type of feeling makes you do silly stuff. Part of the silliness is you had me to do this and to cover your ass here. Not with flowery verbiage or bullshit or lies, just to say, and I would never say, that ain't going to happen. I'm not quoting you. I don't think that's what you said.
Yeah.
But you can't just simply tell what he did was wrong. He took advantage. He was told, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't have initials after my name. Right? That's not what this is. He was told point blank who I was. But as soon as you filled out the credit app, he had your phone number, and he chose to pick up the phone and call you. Do you understand? Are you pissed now?
No, I understand where you're coming from. And just so we're all on the same page, as far as the 20,000, I did tell him that I wanted him to release 10,000.
We haven't gotten there yet.
20.
We haven't even gotten there yet.
Okay.
We're going to get there. All it says is on the 25th, he sent you a direct message and he followed up with a phone call. I've told you, for the cheap seats, don't talk to the landlord. And now it makes sense to you, does it not?
No, of course.
Okay. He advised he can reduce the deposit to 20,000 plus. Fuck you. Do you feel like you just saved yourself 20 grand?
No, not really.
No. Because what would Danny have turned it into?
Hopefully zero.
Don't say hopefully. Nothing. Or we walk. Here's what you did wrong.
Yeah.
You got on the phone with the guy, and dude, how many commercial leases have you negotiated in your time on planet Earth?
Zero.
How many has he? Don't really know, do we? Somewhere between 1 and 1 million, right? But it ain't zero. Me, I lost track with my own leases. with my friends and family and my barber whose leases I've renegotiated. There's layers to this, my brother. And the bottom line is you got on the phone with this cat. What he did when he made the call to you was wrong. That's not how business is done. Do we have a lawsuit, or is there some? Is he impinging some rules? No, it's fine. I'm just your friend, right? I'm your partner. I'm a lease negotiator. I'm many things. You paid me money to do this and to do my best, and I'm pissed because what he did was wrong. Okay. You shaved 40 to 20, and like everybody that turns a $500,000 laundromat purchase into $250, you start telling yourself and your wife who's buying $600 Jimmy Choo shoes, wait, what am I talking about? Yeah, but they were $1,000. They're on sale. When the real worth is nothing. And I'm not talking about a set of flip-flops versus designer shoes. So what you got was 20 grand in first month's rent, and you said what?
That I wanted him to release 10,000 of that on whatever month he wanted, whether it was month 24 or 36, as long as I was in good standing. And the other 10,000 to go towards future rent. So I didn't want him to hold any deposit at all.
He'll hold the other $10,000 for month 629. You'll never see that money.
Yeah, so that's
here's the point.
I knew it.
Here's the point, and I think you know it. I'm going to get off this horse. You shouldn't have talked to him because you started parroting what you heard me say in the past. And bro, we only offer skin in the game in the form of future rent when we've lost all other hope. Only then. And you weren't there.
Okay.
Where was I during all of this? Sitting here with my phone doing nothing. The mantra that I want you and everyone to hear is don't. I mean, look, if you feel like you're capable of doing this, if you're a lifelong professional real estate agent, if you've sold cars since the age of 10, you still shouldn't fucking do this yourself. That's my opinion. Do you disagree?
Yeah, of course.
No, of course you don't. Did you realize until moments ago that what he did was wrong? Scummy.
Yeah.
Scummy.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, he didn't really understand our relationship, but now he does. And if I'm right, wasn't that conversation on YouTube?
Yeah, you did upload it.
Yeah. Sorry, talked over you. Now, you talked to him about, first of all, do you have $20,000? It's not my business. You don't have to answer that.
Well, I do, but I don't want, now that I know
that
what I'm
$20,000 needs to be spent on laundry equipment, on folding tables. And everybody thinks when you start a business, there's all these, hey, I have to have, there's terms. I have to have a business plan. Well, business plans are for college kids. You don't have a business plan. You're not trying to get a good grade unless you wrote one I don't know about. There's no business plan in my course because it's a fucking joke. We do this without a business plan because laundromats are cash up front. You don't need to have X amount in cash reserves. Your gas bill will be $28 if not a swinging dick comes into your laundromat for 30 days. And you don't want that. You want the whole town in there busting the doors down. You want a $3,000 a month gas bill. We know all of this. Now, you said, I'll give you 10 grand. I'll give you 20. It's a mindset thing, right? The price is 40. Where'd they come up? $40,000 in a lease deposit? Jesus, how dare they? You never got on, and I said I wouldn't bring it. You didn't get on the phone with me. I just said, that ain't going to happen, dude. Relax. Go to sleep. You know how we wait? We wait all the time. We wait and we wait and we wait. And this guy texted you 3 times and you picked up the phone. You didn't recognize the number? Okay. The minute he said, this is the agent, you say, oh, shit. Stub my toe. Gotta go. I'm not going to repeat myself. This is not for you. It's for others that happen to be listening. I'm far from perfect, but I know how these games are being played. And moments ago, you didn't realize that what this guy is doing is scummy. And that gives us clout to be able to say, come on, dude, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're an intelligent, well-spoken guy. You speak 2 languages. I don't think at any point that this guy's trying to get over on you, but he's trying to get over on us. It's not right. There's no doctor-patient privilege here. But he knows goddamn well that I'm here to help you. So all the texts and all the emails directed at you without CCing me is just to be able to put that wedge between us and get you to admit to he's not getting $20,000. So don't listen to people on the internet. Don't listen to people complaining because it's not personal. It has nothing to do with you. That itch that you wanted to scratch was urgency. Oh, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to talk to this guy now. It's hard. It's hard. I've been pulled over and I'm going 110 in a school zone, and I'm a fan of cops, and they say, you know why I pulled you over? I was going too fast, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm supposed to look him in the eye and say, I have no idea, officer. Just want to expedite the thing. And I'm not talking about going to prison. We're talking about a lot of money. We're talking about far, far more than you paid me to do this thing, which is silly. And I love to get my fee back so that when you're signing that lease, you got a big ass grin on your face and you're saying the next thing I want to do is pay Danny again to do this again and again and again. Lesson learned. I can't put myself in your shoes. It's hard when this scumbag calls you and says, oh, hey, Scott, where's Danny? Oh, he's not around. All right, good. We need $40,000. Let the jets cool. Let me do what you hired me to do. Okay. What you agreed to is where? Is it in writing? Is it in an email? Did you text it to him, or was it only the spoken word?
Just the spoken word.
Okay. And when did you have that discussion with our friend?
I put the day he called me, which was on Friday, text, email, phone call, on 8/25.
5 days ago.
Yeah.
What has transpired since?
He generated a final lease, pretty much putting that in writing.
Okay. That's funny. I didn't get a copy. Ha ha ha. Oh, boy. You see, I use this analogy a lot. If you were a perpetrator, or pardon me, a suspect, and I was an attorney, and this guy was some form of law enforcement, this whole thing would be thrown out, right? You'd be walking free if you were guilty, or even if you weren't, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know you're not I'm no Atticus Finch. At the end of the day, there's no legal leg to stand on here, but what he did was wrong. So, you have only one question, so go ahead and ask me. What's your question?
Just the triple nets on the lease. I don't know if they were high or low.
Jesus, dude, you don't have a lease.
Oh, okay. Well, right now it's just kind of negotiating the Instead of a 25-year lease, it's not a deal breaker, but if we could do a 20 years and a 5-year option, and
Okay.
then
I was
obviously the
hoping
security
that after
deposit.
all this, your question, Scott, would be, what do we do now?
Give him a call.
No, we don't give him a call because this slimy little fuck tried to end run your guy, tried to slide his hand up your skirt and take $40,000 from you. You've made it almost impossible for me to claw back from the 20 grand you agreed to nothing. The last grenade that we throw in the room with us and drop all your ordnance on my position. The last thing we do, VC's in the wire, they've overrun. The last thing we do is say, we will bring a check that will pay future rent. Scratch the deposit. And it's never going to be month 794. So your question should be, forget about all the 20 years versus 20 versus 15 versus 25. Forget about all the minutia. The biggest thing is this: we ignore him. Because right now, he's not thinking about you. He doesn't care about you. Your biggest fear is someone else is going to get this here laundromat. I know it. You're willing to throw a $20,000 check out so that you get the store. Not on my watch. So what we do now is nothing. We wait for him to write back. And he's not going to write, text, email, or send me a carrier pigeon, is he? He's going to reach out to you. What happened, buddy? Where's the stall in the negotiation? Go sign the lease, right? And what are you going to do then?
He texted me this morning, but I didn't reply back.
Okay. From this moment, put a pin in it, check your watch, draw some blood. From this moment forward, if and when he, I mean, it's fucked, man. This is just not done. He texted you. I don't think you're weak in any way, brother. I don't know you, never met you, but he senses weakness. You're not a shark, and he wants to get you out away from all the other sharks and attack. That's what he's doing. You see that? It's not personal. I'm not talking about your manlyhood or anything else. You were smart enough to bring somebody on board who knows this shit. We walk away from more leases than we sign. And the client always hates that. Oh man, I really want this store though. And that's too small. It's too close to a big mega store. It's too close to a cliff. There's a hurricane coming. Whatever the outliers are, I'm there to keep you from making that mistake. So, do nothing. The next time that he texts or calls or emails or sends a lawn dart your way, you let me know by sending me a text. Right now, he's thinking that you're getting cold feet, or perhaps you don't have the 20K, which you do. And when he does that thing, the next time, not this morning, because now we're talked about it. Now we've discussed it. The next time he reaches out, we will call him together. And I will read him the riot act, and I will say, it's a little wrong, a little out of line, a little bit. You're wrong. I will do that. But it's not personal. It's the fact that now he needs to acquiesce to that fact that he's trying to corner the weakest of the herd, and it's not done. It's not done. Again, not personal. I'm sure you could beat the shit out of both of us at the same time with one hand tied behind your back, but it's not why you hired me. You understand?
Yeah, no, I'm not taking it. It's business, man. I'm not taking it personally. As long as we get it done at the end of the day.
You might not be pissed, but you should be. I've seen this before. I don't want to talk to that Danny guy. You and I are going to do this. Once I made that mistake in New Jersey, this old Italian guy. I let my client, who shall remain nameless, he's got a store now in New Jersey. I let him call the landlord and I listened in. It was hard to hear, dude. It was basically my client just said, while this guy talked. Didn't let that happen. It's like, you know what? If you want to deal with him, you're going to deal with me. I'm no tough guy. This will not stand. The next time he reaches out, it's probably going to be tomorrow morning. Let me know. Stop being in a hurry to rush to failure. My record is perfect. None of my clients give a lease deposit. Now, if you do, that's not really on me, is it? But I still feel personally culpable, so I'm not going to let it happen. When did you hire me? How long have we been working on this together?
About a month already.
A month. Not a year, not 18 months. So again, this goes back to your personal understanding of the way the world works and how this system operates. You're not fortunate that this all fell into place. If you want to bring me on board, don't hobble me by having discussions outside my purview. Right? That's about as flowery as I can get. That's the most verbiage I can currently think of to say, don't talk to the fucking landlord. Passion, right? If there's one word for Danny, what he does and how he fights for his clients, it's passion. Putting words. Tell me another story. What have you been doing today?
Picked up my truck. It was in the shop for like 4 months, so
What?
That's some good news. Yeah, it was the GMC Denali. It got crashed, and the collision shop did a really bad job, so it was in the shop for like 4 months, but finally got it back today.
See, we all learned something. You're a Denali man. Man after my own heart, as am I. All right, dude. Take deep breaths. The minute this fucker texts you, you let me know.
All right, Danny. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Anytime. I'm worked up. I had all of that lined up, both barrels ready to go, and Scott didn't know it. The agent doesn't know what's coming. I have people hire me in in the Rust Belt and the Central States. I was going to say Central America, there too. Danny, it's just different here. You can't talk to people that way. Yeah, I can. Because people in a position of authority are always going to try to put their boot on the neck of those who they perceive are not. I get paid for this. Not enough. If you're on this call or you're watching this live or you're watching it later, you know how passionate I am about this. I will take time, energy, effort to say, please don't do that. This is not some Bruckheimer film. This isn't Indiana Jones where everything has to fall perfectly into place. Luck. James Bond wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for luck. Let's face it. Greatest secret agent of all time. I know it's fiction, you fuckers, but there's luck involved. In this mess, it's knowing what is going to come next. And the next very second that the agent texts him, he's going to get a call from Danny. I don't know if it will be live on it. I don't know. I hope we will. That's why you subscribe, so you don't fucking miss it. If I am not in my office, phone's always with me. If I'm on my 107 off-grid acres, I have service there. We'll call him back almost immediately because he's going to be in that mindset. What am I doing today? Okay. kick a nun, swipe a wheelchair, get back with Scott on that 20 grand. Everyone's so proud of me at the office. And the minute that he does that thing and sends that text, he's going to get a call, not from Scott, but from me. While he's in that mindset, I mean, come on, dude. No deposit, no lease? Great. What's next? What else do you need today? Dial tone. I'm shot out of a cannon because I'm pissed. If you just jumped on board and you zoomed to what you perceive as the last bit of this video, go watch the whole thing. Because there's no way to jump through these things, is there? All right, on to you, louts. Let's have some fun. See how you've been talking amongst yourselves. By the way, start telling me what you think the tagline and what we should all be commenting on, not in the live chat, but in the video chat. We do a fun thing where we pick a topic. And it's really so the noobs that are watching this not live, but they're watching the YouTube video pre-recorded, they're like, what are they talking about? I don't know. I like inside jokes. Darren says, come on, boys and girls, sort me out. Let's help our friend out. Okay. Obscure Manifesto. What a lovely YouTube name that is. Have you or any of your students reduced the equipment count when retooling for large locations? Fearful question, because you're afraid to spend that much money on equipment. A, you shouldn't be. B, leave some of the older shitty equipment in place. Normally, some of it is good. I wouldn't spend any money to move it around. Maybe a row or two of top loaders will remain behind. That's fine. But you can always make the store, you can always have less equipment to begin with by removing a row of front load, very, very costly equipment and putting folding in there. So we've got on washer rows, right? We've got hot, cold, drain. And on this side, we'll just remove the equipment, shut the hot and cold off, and put folding. I'm fine with that. A shit distributor will try to sell you 8,000 square feet worth of equipment when this store has been falling apart for 20 years and you can't really justify that much equipment. So that's a good question. If it were your third or seventh store, I'd say go nuts. Retool so you don't have to later. But number one, Darren, Obscure Manifesto, OM, don't be afraid. Jack says, why would you reduce the equipment count? Here we go. I know I'm not always in the comments, guys, but you got to talk amongst yourselves every time. Danny has some great videos on the channel of overseas success stories. I do. Thank you. I've been watching the channel for a while, buddy. Oh, we're going to fight. Will says, maybe I can see reducing the equipment when you put in large washers that have a bigger dimension. Maybe. Top loaders, front loaders, but never less than 25 washers. Look at Bill showing his stuff. Sergio is back and says, love the egg pick. Showing Danny. Good course. Love the egg pick. Showing Danny. Sorry, I don't know what that means. It's been a long day. Bill says, Darren, anywhere the laundromat in rented space, you can get the lease. Doesn't matter what country it is in. Go get them. Steve Apron. I'm envisioning something crazy there. I grew up in the Navy. Dad was retired chief after 22 years. Good for him. He redacted his next message. Jaime says, Danny, locking the lease down. Congratulations on the laundromat. You probably didn't watch the whole thing, Jaime. I know, Bill. Hell no, never walk to a professional when you're not a pro. Talk to a professional. Yeah, prison's filled with people who went against professional interrogators. We're not quite there yet. Thank you, Danny, for your service. My cervix is just fine. I bought the course. What if the mat is not really that bad? Should we even contact the landowner? Well, what we learned here today, Steve, is I don't know. If you want to bring me on board, I'll call as many as it takes. I'm not afraid to call because it's a 10-minute conversation. We'll call. I don't charge by the minute. or the call. Rojangles, Danny is your lawyer. If you hire him, let him do the talking, not you. That's not your job. He gets it. Stop beating him up. I did it enough. Danny, would you have turned it into zero, and any money paid would be future rent? Last ditch effort, kids. But you don't show your whole card until I don't play cards. You don't. Yeah, I'm at a loss for an analogy. It's the last thing we do. The last thing we negotiate is that lease deposit because they always say, we always get the money. Well, you can't say that tomorrow. And sadly, Scott was just channeling what he had heard me say and what many of you heard. It's not the end of the world. We still have I have to do damage control. I have to go back in there and say, yeah, I know what he said, but the child knows not from where he speaks. Louise says, fuck, why didn't you call Danny? You had it. To Kill a Mockingbird, nicely done. Thanks. Danny's the Percy Harvin of negotiation. That chess piece can move all over the board for you. It can. My De Niro's on spot. I didn't even say anything. What's he done today? Paying the landlord. Oh, boy. Leave him alone. And for us guys, if you get on the channel and you allow me to harass you, it's not about you. It's about the next guy or gal. That's who we're trying to educate here and pump up. Don't ever talk to the landlord. Got it. That's right, Ian. Location is in. Ready to get going again. He's not ready to walk away. Always be ready to walk away. You have the power at all times. Yes, Yale. Yale is your name? Interesting. My parents should have named me president. Sergio, Danny, please do a live or a video on this agent with Scott. I told you I'll do my best. Nub in the Bay Area. Where should I start? Get the course, Nub. Get the course. Not because I need a couple bucks. It's because that's where you learn to crawl, my brother. Hal says, great advice, Danny. I probably would have made the same mistake as Scott. If that ever happens to me when I answer the phone, I will tell them with authority. Talk to Danny. He does my lease negotiation. There's no N on there. OM is back. That's exactly why I asked the question, not because I'm afraid of the... Oh, sorry, dude. Thank you for answering my question. I meant egg picking, showing Danny in the course. Still don't know what you're talking about. All right, what are we going to comment? Your favorite Robert De Niro movie. Okay? Not here in the chat, but as soon as I end this stream and I burn this down, there's 57 of you on here. I want to see 57 comments. I went to high school with De Niro. Okay. Robert De Niro is a libtard. All right, I'll allow it. Danny, if you contort your face in a certain way, you look just like him. A little bit. A little bit. All right. 57 comments. Are you ready? Hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you don't have the course, go get it. When I start to change the tone and inflection in my voice, people start dropping off. Don't do it. Go make the comment. You want to get rich with laundromats? It's a schlog, man. Let me help you. Ciao, kids. De Niro.